Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. So since this is the month of October, obviously I want to talk about some spooky stuff. Oh, definitely. So let's just hop right into it, shall we? So here we go. I just thought, might as well, I guess, because that's all month long. I just want to talk about nothing but this type of stuff. I mean, granted, I probably would have done it anyway, but still, my favorite time of the year. So here we are. Anyway, so All Hallow Eve 2. I did review the first one, so might as well get to it, I guess. So anyway, I just might as well. This is review the sequel to it, I guess. Or standalone sequel, I should say. And yes, I know it did bother some people that the crazy clown character, the serial killer, was not in this one technically. But personally speaking, it didn't bother me really. I was fine with that. This is supposed to be like an anthology type series anyway to begin with, and it just reminds me of the whole thing with Halloween 3, this season of the witch. Well, Halloween was in it, and people complain. Oh, Michael Myers, what's Michael Myers? What's my blah 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 blah. Come on, people. Can't blame the movie series for trying to experiment here. Come on, then you everybody complain about is trying to too much the same. Can't please nobody. Anyway, of course, as always, let's talk about the plot, shall we? So here we go. So anyway, like we're saying, this is pretty much a standalone type of thing, I guess you can say, with several stories going on while having this main story. So there's this woman that's been stalked by this man in this jack o' lantern mask kind of a thing. Finds this VHS tape outside her front door. She calls her friend and then begins to play the tape. The first story being Jack attacked. So there's this babysitter named Elizabeth who watches a young boy and his dog while texting her boyfriend. They carve a pumpkin, of course, together and she bakes a seed, and they will later eat it. So of course things start to get weird from there. Of course. Then the second story is titled "The Last Halloween." A husband and his wife refuse to, I guess, greet their trick or four trick treaters dressed as a witch, a ghost, a devil, and a grim reaper. The wife pleads to let them in, but the husband angrily refuses. So she disobeys him and lets him in. So of course things get crazy from there. And then the third story is called The Offering. There was this father and his son that pretty much drive their pickup to this deserted place to, I guess, to do something with this offering of meat to an evil identity. And yes, of course, things get weird. And then the fourth story being called Descent. So this woman visits her friend to find her murdered and the killer still in the house. He stalks her, but she escapes. So it kind of fast forwards 6 weeks later. She is working on late, and let's just say, of course, things could just get weird. Or so the fifth story being masochist. There's this sideshow carnivore beggar that invites three teenagers to play his spinning wheel game. They agree to do so. So they pretty much choose these any number of weapons as they were extracted, and tools, of course, to throw out the man strapped to his wheel to make him bleed. So yes, all these stories are pretty weird, of course. So anyway, the other story is called A Boy's Life. A boy, the son, is grieving the loss of his father and his nightmares about monsters on his bed. His mother does attempt to defeat the monsters and bonds with the son. So yes, obviously, it gets weird. It gets really weird, of course. Anyway, the other one is this trickster's tree. So there is this man who has two teenage sons in prison. He feeds one of them candy until he passes out, and then drags him in front of his porch. Of course, where sits him on his bench here. So okay, so that's a thing. And then the last story being Alexia. Yes, it's a Spanish name, of course. Anyway, there's this teenager that's surfing his social media, and there's this whole thing with the death of his ex-girlfriend. He sees a ghoulish thing in the computer screen, which he unplugs. So yeah, it's just kind of bizarre when you think about it. His current girlfriend comes in to hang out. So yes, things get rather bizarre, like always would. Of course, as you might expect, obviously. There seems to be like a running theme here when it comes to these kinds of stories. And that's about it, really. So there you go, I guess. So anyway, I guess there's not much I was gonna say about this and that. Is that it's a pretty solid story, of course. It may not be some grand masterpiece or anything, but I thought it was enjoyable for what they're trying to do. I thought it was a pretty solid movie, enough in the grand scheme of things. Of course, I don't think it was too shabby what they're trying to do. I guess for what it's worth, I thought it was solid enough. I suppose this one did. It looked like he had a bit more money compared to the first All Hallows Eve, of course, compared to the first one anyway. It did look like he had a bit more money put to it. But anyway, it looks like the editing is different some ways. Not that I'm complaining too much really, because if you're able to do certain things in one of these, yeah, by all means do it. If you have even if you have the budget for it, that is obviously. But anyway, I don't know. I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was pretty solid as a whole. I didn't think it was too shabby in things with the director and everyone else involved was trying to do, obviously. And yeah, it gets pretty weird. It gets pretty bizarre. But then again, this this entire franchise was already rather odd to begin with, so that's not really much of a stretch. Come to think about it, not really. So, all right. Ultimately, I can't say I hated it. I didn't hate this film whatsoever. I like what they were attempting to do, of course. So there was that, obviously. So that's definitely is a thing. So yes, of course, I would definitely say it's something for the Halloween to get in the spirit of things. I guess. Sure, why not? I don't see why not. But anyway, I'm definitely gonna say that it has its moments, of course. All right then. So I'm giving this film here a overall rating of a 6.9 out of 10. It's a 6.9 out of 10 for me. So of course, as always, thanks for watching and take care. Next time. See ya. Oh yeah, later.